Good evening. This is CTV News for Friday, June 14th. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Patricia Vallone. Topping the news tonight, police are urging caution for the transgender community. Now, they're investigating the murder of a transgender female in Fairmont Heights. The woman, identified as 23-year-old Zoe Spears of Northeast D.C., was found shot on 59th Avenue about midnight last night. Spears was pronounced dead on the scene. Authorities are urging members of the LGBT community to be cautious.
I would like to see a lot of these people get the help that they may need in order to stay off the street. This is very dangerous. Walking down the sidewalk itself is not dangerous, but when you're dealing with people that you don't know, that may have an ulterior motive, anything can happen. And we'd like to see them off the streets and into a safe place, because this is not safe.
The victim is reportedly the second transgender woman killed in Fairmont Heights.
The Maryland chapter of the American Civil Liberties Union is suing the Prince George's School District for making students pay for required graduation courses over the summer. The suit filed Wednesday alleges that the $225 fee should not be required under state law and that it is burdensome for students of color. The fee for low-income students is $125. Lori Tucker says the high school her son transferred to did not offer the two courses he needed to graduate.
That is not his fault. That's not our fault. We thought that he was being transferred to a school that offered everything he needed to be able to graduate. However, that wasn't the case. Paying $200 per course for summer school is really not in our budget right now. So that is the issue. I don't feel like summer school should be an issue, public school-wise, for a child to be able to graduate. A child's graduation or a child's continuous education should not have anything to do with whether or not the families are able to afford the prices.
The ACLU is also seeking a temporary injunction that would bar the fees for this summer while the suit moves forward.
Maryland announces where it plans to build its first toll lanes for the planned I-270 expansion. Phase 1 will begin with pay-to-drive lanes on 270 between the Capitol Beltway and Interstate 370. The state would partner with a private company which would operate the lanes. The stretch along the Beltway from the American Legion Bridge to Interstate 95 would be done in the second phase.
Originally, the Montgomery portion was going to be first. That got put back into second because there was a lot of concern from the local officials. Then they look at the 270 segment, which had been supposedly all articulated, but now they're changing that because it is a fluid situation. And I think that's why you're seeing the lower part of 270 looked at perhaps ahead of the upper part. Long-winded way of saying much needed project. We would be crippled if we just sat still and didn't do anything.
Meantime, opponents of the plan say they want the American Legion Bridge and a stretch from I-370 to Frederick to be part of the first phase of construction. They say that is where most of the congestion is centered.
Maryland lawmakers are talking about health care disparities. Congressman Steny Hoyer and Anthony Brown hosting a roundtable discussion to listen to stakeholders on the work they are doing. The two also talked about ongoing efforts in Congress to lower health care and prescription drug costs.
That Mr. Hoyer and I hear from stakeholders. We've got the stakeholders from Charles County and Prince George's County, health officers and health advocates sharing with us what are some of the challenges, what are some of the best practices. So as we do our work in Congress to deliver better health care, to have the policy that does that, we are being very intentional when it comes to what things do we need to do to focus on health disparities.
The roundtable was part of the Health Care for All Americans weekend being hosted by congressional Democrats, with events going on throughout the weekend around the country.
Atlanta man will spend the next 13 years behind bars for causing life-changing injuries to his 4-month-old son. The sentence for 27-year-old Robert St. Russell was handed down this afternoon. Back in February 2017, he assaulted his son, Coeli, causing severe head trauma, brain bleeds, broken ribs, and a broken arm. The child will need medical care for the rest of his life.